Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. And today we are going to be doing a pre-preseason Cincinnati Bengals 53-man roster projection on the channel today. Obviously, the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field tomorrow night to kick off their three-game preseason slate. And today I'm kind of just going to go over the 53-man roster quick and what I think could happen, what I think will happen, and how I think it'll all shake out with the cuts coming in late August. Before I start, if you guys do enjoy, please like, subscribe. That would all be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's get right into it with another Bengals video on the channel. So, before I start, this is a key of what I basically I think is their chances of making the roster. Orange being a lock, that being Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, guys like that, they're a lock to make the roster. That green being probable, they are probably going to make the roster. It is very unlikely that they don't. This blue being a 50-50, they are could make the roster, could not. They are a basically a in the middle kind of guy. Most people on this 53-man roster will be in these two. There'll be some with this. This I swear is yellow. I swear it's yellow. Doesn't look like it, but because I'm on the dark mode extension, that means they are unlikely to make the roster. And this is red, but it doesn't look red because I'm also on the dark mode extension again. But it means pretty much impossible they're going to make the roster. The only spot you might see this is on the practice squad. So, without further ado, let's start this off. I'm going to pull something up on my second screen here to kind of give myself a look at the roster. Okay, quarterback. I think the Bengals keep two. I've been set in stone on this. I think it will be Joe Burrow, and I think it will be Jake Browning. Some people bringing up that they might keep Desmond Ritter. Signed Desmond Ritter about a few weeks back now. I don't know why it looks like that. Oh wait, I have to go to this orange. Both these guys are locked to make the roster. If they keep three QBs, it would probably be Desmond Ritter or Peyton Thorne, I believe it is, from Auburn, the undrafted free agent. But I think the Bengals keep two quarterbacks. Probably keep a quarterback on the practice squad, likely being Desmond Ritter, in my opinion. So let's see how that shakes out. I think they keep two quarterbacks, though. Running backs, Chase Brown, obvious choice. Samaje Perine, obvious choice. And Taj Brooks. These are three absolute locks to make the roster right here. I'm not going to convert that to table. Three locks. These three, I don't know why that is not bold. I got to bold that and put that in the middle. I'm going to do this to all of it. I don't know why it's like that. Hold on. Okay. But I think they just cut Zach Moss a few weeks ago. I think it is an uphill battle to keep four running backs right now. Obviously, again, they'll keep one on the practice squad, but right now I'm going to say the Bengals end up keeping three running backs on the roster with Chase Brown, Samaje Perine, and Taj Brooks, with Zach Moss no longer being here. Okay, wide receiver. Let's start off with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yosivas. Don't know why it looks like that. And this isn't bold. Why isn't it bold? Bold it up. Middle. Okay, Andre Yosivas, Jermaine Burton. Make his name one thing smaller. And then I think they keep two more. I think it ends up being Charlie Jones and Isaiah Williams, who's had a really good camp, made some acrobatic catches. I think your four to lock to make the roster here are these four guys right here. These four guys are 100% making the roster. This guy, Charlie Jones, Isaiah Williams, I think they're both fringe roster spots right now. I think you put them in the 50-50 category. Both these guys could make it. They could miss the roster, but I think definitely one of these guys getting kept. Without a doubt, one of them's getting kept. In the other hands, maybe the other one gets cut. We'll see how it shakes out. But tight end, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, and I went to the offensive line. Why did I do that? I don't know. Noah Fant, through sample. And then I think Eric All Jr. will probably be PUP. Oh, I've had a PUP thing. Okay, hold on. I have to go to, I have to add PUP here. I'm gonna make this all black background be white. So, and then there's no text here. So PUP or IR, PUP/IR, Eric All Jr. He definitely goes in that category. These three, absolute locks to make the roster. Do they keep a fourth tight end? History says they do. Could it be Tanner Hudson? Could it be Cam Grandy? I think they probably end up still keeping Tanner Hudson, to be honest with you. I don't think it spells the end of Tanner Hudson. He's more of a 50-50 to make the roster, though, in that case. Who knows if he ends up making it? We'll see. So that would be 6 wide receivers and 4 tight ends. I did not mean to do that. Offensive tackle, Orlando Brown Jr. Offensive guard, one, that would be Dylan Fairchild. I do think he ends up starting in year one. Center, Ted Karras. Offensive guard, two, we'll leave that open for a second. I'll talk about that more in a second. And Amarius Mims, right tackle. Okay, so we'll start off with this. These 4 are locks. Who do I think the starting right guard will be? I think the starting right guard will end up being Lucas Patrick. Sadly, I don't like the situation. He'll be a lock to make the roster. Will he be a lock to start? No, but he'll be a lock to make the roster 100%. Center number 2, I think will end up being Matt Lee. I think he's a lock to make the roster. He'll be your future center after Ted Karras ends up leaving the Bengals after this year. I think offensive guard, your backup offensive guard, Cordell Volson is that guy, and Cody Ford on the right. I think it'll be a rotating guard room throughout the entire season, and we'll see how it ends up ending. But I think Fairchild and Patrick are your day one starters. They are listed as the starters right now on the beginning depth chart, and I think that's how it will end up staying. So that's 8 offensive linemen right there. They also will likely keep Jalen Rivers, who is a 5th round pick out of Miami. It doesn't really matter what tackle position you put him in right now. I'm gonna end up putting him behind Amarius Mims. Zach Taylor did not rule out that he could be playing some guard snaps, so who knows? We'll see what happens there. I think he's a lock to make the roster, though. I think these 9 linemen are an absolute lock to make the roster. If I had to add one more, you can get to 10. I mean, Jackson Kirkland's one of those guys. Seth McLaughlin, undrafted free agent at Ohio State, projected 2nd round pick before the injury if he went in last year's draft. Um, I think he could be a really good player for the Bengals. I think that he probably has an uphill battle to make the 53-man roster, but I think he could be a guy that they end up keeping. I will say that it is Jackson Kirkland that ends up being the 5th or the 10th lineman, but keep in mind, I do think Seth McLaughlin will make the practice squad. Kirkland, give me a 50-50 there. He's not a lock to make the roster, but I think he ends up making it. I think they keep 10 linemen in the ends. I did not mean to do that. Center, 2, guard, 2, offensive tackle, 2. So that ends up being 10 linemen in the end with a total of 25 on offense. Exactly. We'll end up editing it at the very end and seeing how the entire thing will kind of go. But right now, I do think that is how the offense shakes up. We'll edit it at the very end. Defensive end number 1. Obviously, 91. We'll see if he gets his new contract extension soon. But right now, he's on the roster. Technically, he's under contract, so he's defensive end number 1. Interior defensive line, TJ Slayton, BJ Hill, and Miles Murphy. I do think it will end up starting technically. But those 4 absolute locks to make the roster. Defensive end 2, Shamar Stewart and Joseph Osai. Those 2, 1st-round pick Shamar Stewart, Joseph Osai. Also, 2 more locks to make the roster. Interior defensive line, you go to the backups. Behind, I'd say behind doesn't matter. TJ Slayton's more than those tackle types, so we'll put McKinley Jackson behind him. But I'm going to put Chris Jenkins Jr. and McKinley. Is it two ends? Let me see over here. It is two ends. McKinley Jackson. He's a lock to make the roster. Again, two more locks. So basically, it's mainly locks on the roster. Like, there's going to be a ton of locks, as you can see here. More guys that I think will make the roster. I think Cam Sample will make the roster. I'll put him behind Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart there. I'm actually going to put him as our first probable of the video. Not guaranteed to make the roster there, but I think he's going to make the roster, I think. Hmm. It gets tough. It gets very tough. I think they'll keep a fifth interior defensive lineman. I don't think that's really debatable if they keep a fifth interior defensive lineman or not. It just really questions who it is. Taven Bryan's a guy who played for the Colts last year, veteran signing they made, former first round pick. He could make the roster. Howard Cross, Notre Dame, undrafted free agent, knows Al Golden well. He could make the roster. McTelvin Agim, Eric Gregory out of Arkansas. I mean, there's different guys they could choose. I'm gonna choose Taven Bryan to be the next guy up here. I'm gonna put him here, I guess, and I'll put him as a 50-50, I guess. Not really 50-50, but he has a chance to make the roster. I think they'll end up keeping him as a depth defensive lineman. Howard Cross is a guy from Notre Dame, though. I hope he sticks around. I'm a big fan of his. I've watched his film, and I think he could be a really good player for the Bengals. Question is, do they keep a sixth pass rusher? Probably. I think the next guy they keep is probably Cedric Johnson, former Ole Miss product, Bengals draft pick of 2024. And I think he is probably your next guy. I'm also gonna put him as probable. Wait, I put Taven Bryan as probable. Accidental. He's a 50-50 in my eyes. So in that case, that makes three there, three here, two here, and three here. We'll count it up at the end, see if I go over 53. We ended up having 21 on offense, so let's keep that in mind here. Linebacker 1, Logan Wilson. Linebacker 2, Demetrius Knight Jr. Those be your guys. It's still one. I probably should just put D. Okay. Logan Wilson, Demetrius Knight Jr., locks. They're your starting linebackers, I think. Demetrius Knight has been absolutely shining in camp. That's the word around the streets. So let's see if they end up keep going with that. 4, 6, 8. That's 10 technically. I could have had a third linebacker spot if I really wanted to, but I'll just end up keeping it as the backup. The third linebacker will be Oren Burks and also Barrett Carter, rookie out of Clemson. Those two are also locks. Al Golden has raved about Oren Burks. Now he's excited for him. So let's see what ends up happening there. I might add Maima Jongmeta at the very end here after we're done, depending on how much spots we have left. But right now, I'll put two and two. That will be the verdict right now. Right now on defense, we have 15. We have 15 on defense. 15 plus 25 is 40. So we have 13 more spots to go. Free safety, Geno Stone, Jordan Battle. Those two are your starting safeties this year. Jordan Battle finally gets to break out of his shell with no more Arumo. Let's see how he can play in a big, big year for him. I think Dejon Anthony will be your backup free safety. I think he is probable. I wouldn't call him an absolute lock, but he's going to make the roster basically. And Tyson Anderson also gets on the roster. That's probably it for safety. They probably keep four. Tyson Anderson's a beast on special teams. He's a great asset. So honestly, I'd call him a lock. No matter how you put it, he's their best special teams player by far. He contributes in big, big ways there. I think that's your four safeties. I don't think really there's any other question for anybody else to make the roster. Everybody else is a cut. Cornerback 1, Cam Taylor Britt. Cam Taylor-Britt, I do think is cornerback 1. Cornerback 2, Dax Hill. Does Dax Hill play the nickel this year? That's the question. Dax Hill, Josh Newton. Who is your nickel? Will they rotate nickels? We'll see what ends up happening there. But I guess ESPN depth chart has Dax Hill listed as a nickel right now. I'm going to keep Dax Hill in a nickel, I guess. We'll see what ends up happening there, but it's really a rotation. We'll see what Al Golden ends up doing there. Josh Newton will probably be your cornerback 2. No more Mike Hilton, feels crazy to say. Or I should put DJ Turner cornerback 2 probably. DJ Turner, Josh Newton, DJ Ivy probably makes the roster. These two locks. These two locks. DJ Ivy, probable. That's what I'd say, probable. There's also guys like Marco Wilson, former Cardinal, former Patriot there. He could be on the roster. Jalen Davis is a guy who's been with the Bengals for a few years now. Been a very, very solid depth piece for them. He's been on the team for a few years. I mean, I could add Jalen Davis. It's really Jalen Davis or Marco Wilson. I'm gonna add Marco Wilson there. I'm gonna add Marco Wilson. I'll add Jalen. Jalen Davis is a nickel. He's confirmed a nickel. I'll keep him on the roster. I'd say 50-50 there, and Marco Wilson, I'd say the same similar thing. So that's 7 total corners. Keep that in mind. 7 total. What is our roster at right now? We had 40 going into free safety. So we had 25 offensively. We're gonna have 15, 19 plus 7. That's 26. That's 51 we're at right now. So that's going to be one too many. Okay, interesting. So kicker is Evan McPherson. Punter, Ryan Rico. And long snapper, that's going to be a Bengals camp battle as well. These guys are obviously locks. That's your kicker and punter. Big year for Evan McPherson ahead, by the way. But your long snapper battle, Cal Adamitis versus William Wagner, the undrafted free agent. I believe he's out of Michigan. Um, Khaled Mice played for the Bengals for a few years now. Hasn't been anything special. He's been fine, but hasn't been anything special. Do the Bengals pull the trigger and William Wagner wins the job? I'm gonna say yes. The fact that they brought in a long snapper as a undrafted free agent makes me think that they are very, very they're meh. They're meh about Cal Adamitis, and I don't know if they're big fans of him, but we'll see what ends up happening. Both those guys will probably end up playing in the preseason, and they'll end up probably swapping off punts and kicks and all that. So right there, that's 1-1-1. That would be, I believe, 54, which is one too many, obviously. Let me count it up. 5 plus 6, 11, plus 4, 15, plus 10, 25, plus 11, 36, plus 4, 40, plus 44, plus 7, 51, plus 3, 54. So one cut has to be made. Where does it end up being? I don't think it's quarterback. I don't think it's running back, obviously. Those are all. I think they keep 6 wide receivers. I think it's your 6 wide receivers right there. Do they end up only keeping 3 tight ends? That's a question that could be answered. Same thing here. Linemen. Do they end up keeping 9 linemen? That's another question that could be answered. 26 on defense, 25 on offense. I'm going to say they keep even number, and I'm going to cut one guy on defense. That guy I'm going to cut is the question. Is Cedric Johnson? I feel like Tanner Hudson. I feel like the smart move here is to cut Tanner Hudson. Because with the Noah Fant signing, I feel like a lot of people said that spells the end of Tanner Hudson. I'm going to say that's what they do. I was thinking of putting on offense, on defense, but I'm going to say Tanner Hudson is the guy that they end up cutting. And that's your 53 right there. And that is my Bengals pre-preseason 53-man roster projection with the practice squad, adding guys like Desmond Ridder. He's your first guy to add there. I would also add a running back. Whoever that is could be a waiver pickup, could be different. Who knows what ends up being? I'm just going to add Gary Brightwell right now. Was on the Bengals roster last season. Former Giant. I'm just gonna add him right now because it could be a waiver pickup that they end up being on the practice squad. There's obviously going to be wide receivers on the practice squad. Cole Burgess is a guy who was there last season. Kendrick Pryor, he's previously been with the Bengals. Jordan Moore out of Duke, I believe he's made some spectacular catches. Mitchell Tinsley, there's plenty of guys there. I'm just going to go Jordan Moore out of Duke because I know the most about him, to be honest with you. And I'm also going to go with Cole Burgess because he has seniority with the Bengals and he's been here before. I'm also going to say Tanner Hudson makes the practice squad, or you could say Cam Grandy instead. Another tight end the Bengals have. Offensive line, I definitely think Seth McLaughlin deserves a spot on this team, whether it's practice squad or not. Let me pull this all up. Hold on, pull all the way down here. Be size or size 9, bold in the middle. I'm gonna put them all size 9, I guess, or yeah, I'm just put them all size 9. Um, McLaughlin. You could also put Caleb Etienne, a guy out of BYU, Andrew Stuber. He was a Bengals free agent signing last season. Devin Cochran. I'm gonna put Devin Cochran there because he's been with the Bengals for a decent amount of time. Take the practice squad with a grain of salt because this is just random guesses at this point. Um, Defense. I'm gonna put Howard Cross there. I definitely want Howard Cross there. Definitely want Howard Cross. Gotta put a defensive end in there. I guess I'll put Isaiah Thomas, formerly of the Browns. How many is that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. That's 9 right there. Linebacker, Miami John Meta had a stellar preseason last season. I'm also going to put Shaka Hayward in there because he's a beast too. Or I shouldn't say a beast, but he had a good preseason last season as well. That would be 11 right there, I think. Um, there's cornerbacks you can put in. We can Nate Brooks in here. Nate Brooks have a spot here. I'll put Nate Brooks. I'll also put Lance Robinson. Who else? Who else? I mean, Jalen Key was with the Bengals sometime last season. Could put Braylon Lux, undrafted free agent. I'm gonna put. I'm gonna go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. So I'm also gonna put. Hmm. I'm gonna move these guys down. I'm gonna put McTelvin Adjum. I think it's how you say it, Adjum. He was a free agent signing the Bengals a few weeks back with the Taven Bryan move. Also, also put Eric Gregory, I guess. Who else? There's other moves. I could put Calidamitis here if I wanted to, but I wouldn't see him keeping multiple long snappers. I'll put Cam Grandy with the tight ends here. Cam Grandy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 16 right there. That's 16. So that's your practice squad. I'm just gonna say that PUP Eric All Jr. He probably will not play at all this season. That's the likely outcome there. But you know what? Nah, I've never talked. Never mind. I was gonna say. But yeah, that's how this is gonna go here. So that is my preseason Bengals 53-man roster projection. You can't see all the way down here, but Lance Robinson, that's your entire practice squad there with the key Eric All Jr. and it goes through the entire thing there. So yeah, we get 53 players on the practice squad. Most of them are locks, obviously, as you can see with the orange there. Charlie Jones, Isaiah Williams, 50-50. Jackson Kirkland, 50-50. Got some probables and some more 50-50s. And that is my first Bengals 53-man roster projection of the 2025 preseason. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please like, subscribe. That would all be greatly appreciated. The NFL preseason starts tomorrow with the Bengals playing. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Shamar Stewart and some of the other rookies. And the Burrow and the starters will play about a quarter tomorrow. So I'm excited. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time and hope you enjoyed today.